Right.
There.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is Nancy Allen. It may say under my name that it's, or under my photo that it's Phyllis Johnson, but Phyllis and I both have rights for this Zoom meeting, and so therefore I think I signed in as her. So I'm impersonating Phyllis today. Phyllis Johnson is the immediate past chair of the National Health Science Consortium, and she's a great help to us as we offer webinars throughout the year. My name is, again, Nancy Allen. I serve as Executive Director for the National Consortium for Health Science Education. We just welcome you all here today. I did a quick review of those that, okay, Phyllis, we lost the slide here. Okay, I did a quick review of those of you who are on the call, and I think that I saw about maybe 12 or 14 health science state leads. So we really appreciate you all being here. We've sent a message out to all you who registered. Some of you teachers registered for this event and also some of our partners, and that's perfectly fine with us for you to stay on. You may hear some information that's helpful to you. We'll be focusing mainly on our health science state leads, but we think information they have to share or that we have to share with them could be beneficial to you as well. We also have on the call Katrina Hain. Katrina is a classroom teacher and has experience in a brick and mortar, a regular health science program in a high school setting, but she currently works for a virtual school program. So she has a lot of expertise in online and digital curriculum. And so she additionally serves as the Health Science Educators Association representative to our executive council. So she'll be joining you on this call. So the process will be that we'll go through some sharing of information, myself, as well as Katrina, and then we'll use the chat room for questions. And we're going to let the health science state leads, if they need to be unmuted, if there's things they want to share about some great strategies that are happening at their state that would be beneficial to everyone across the nation, then we'll unmute them as well. And so, but for the most part, we'll use the chat feature at the end of the webinar, or toward the end of the last 15 minutes or so of the webinar, to answer questions and talk about next steps. So I just wanted to mention a little bit about the webinars. If you have not taken advantage of those in the past, they are all recorded and archived on our website. And it's a feature on our website. If you go to healthscienceconsortium.org, and the second tab over says events, and then under events, there's a drop-down box that says webinars. And you will see that we have, I believe, 8 webinars posted over the time we've been hosting these webinars. So there may be some information there that would be helpful to you or your teachers. We also had heard from several teachers to say, do you have any ideas about professional development for us? And so they had gotten approval from their administrator to watch the webinars, and we'll be happy to provide certificates of participation for them if that would be helpful to document professional development hours. If you're on Facebook, you'll note that we have 2 very active pages, and we try to keep information current there. The consortium has a page, as well as our teacher organization has a group page. So somebody's muted. Somebody needs to be muted, Phyllis, if you could check that for us. Okay, thank you. So we try to keep our Facebook pages current and active, and sharing any information that we get from partners, any information that we get from teachers, or any information about this whole situation. I'm elected not to say the word today. I'm just going to call it a terrible complex problem. We do also have the health science curriculum enhancements, and some of you health science state leads have purchased these for your teachers in the past, or some of you teachers that are on the call, you may have this resource. You'll know that it's completely digital resource. It's downloadable from our website. For teachers from member states, the cost of the curriculum enhancements is $300. For teachers who are in states that are not members of the consortium, the cost of enhancements is $450. I'm not here to sell those at all. I'm just mentioning that to you because we are under, I think maybe, Phyllis, if you could check on Laurie Heath, it seems like that's the feedback that I'm getting. Okay. So we are under major revisions with our curriculum enhancements. We have two wonderful, fabulous writers who are doing a major rework of this resource. And so we have a policy in place now. If schools or teachers want to purchase those now, then when they're available, they'll be available in August of 2020 for the beginning of the school year. And these are enhancements that are based on the National Health Science Standards, and they're all very highly interactive with PowerPoints and lesson plans. And we know that if teachers wanted to purchase those now, it didn't seem quite fair that the new editions will be coming out in about 5 or 6 months. And so for an additional $50, if they purchase them now, then we keep track of that. And then August, when the new editions are published, then for $50 additional, they can get the new health science curriculum enhancements, which are downloadable from our website through our online store. And just to lightly mention the 2020 National Health Science Conference, in a normal time, we would be pushing out information about this event to health science state leaders, to teachers, to partners. We would be in a big way promoting this opportunity, which will be October 27th through the 30th in Charleston, South Carolina. But we have strong feelings that teachers are highly distracted, as well as health science state leads, as well as partners who are doing lots of wonderful work to push their resources out to our teachers. And so we have the flyer ready to go. All the information, or much of the information, is on our website under events, under the National Health Science Conference. But we thought we'd wait until next month to do a major push. We're always looking for presenters. We're looking for exhibitors. We're looking for attendees. And probably I should flip back a little to say that the health science curriculum enhancements will be offered complimentary to anyone who registers for the pre-conference. The pre-conference will be on the 27th of October, and the morning will be devoted to learning more about the curriculum enhancements and how to use those in your classroom. And for health science state leads, we certainly hope you'll help us promote that to your teachers. So in the afternoon, will be promoted to visits at the Medical University of South Carolina with some very unique opportunities they have there for educators and patients through their health science or healthcare community. So let me take a break. Let me take a breath right here and just say that it's my pleasure to introduce to you now Katrina Hain. She's going to talk to you about some available resources that we have for teachers that we hope that the health science state leads will take advantage of to get out to their teachers that they have the honor to serve, and then some great opportunities that partners of the National Health Science Consortium have provided for our classroom teachers. So Katrina, you ready to go? And just let Phyllis know what slide you need first.
Okay, thank you. So Phyllis, if you'll please upload the slide that has just one link on it. I think it says teachers sharing with teachers. So I'm Katrina. I'm a classroom teacher. I've been in brick and mortar for 8 years. And right now, this year I've been teaching in virtual school. So yeah, even in virtual school, we're still having some issues because we know everybody's, kind of stressed out. So in my state, we already had a shared Google Drive for the new teachers. So we decided to share out our Google Drive folder to anybody else who wants to add or upload or partake in it. And we've already posted the link in the HSEA website, and I think Nancy's already also, the Facebook group, and Nancy's already posted it in HSE. So so when that slide comes up, that has the link. So I recommend that you just take a picture of it with your phone or a screenshot or whatever, and you don't need any special kind of sign in for that. I've set it up so that you just need the link and then you can go right into it. And so 2 other teachers have been working with me who already have lots of resources. And so, like I said, that has medical terminology, clinicals, health science information, sports medicine. There are many, many folders in that. And hopefully that'll be up soon. The other thing that I wanted to share out with you when that slide becomes available is we have, and this is also on the Nishi Facebook page, we have several vendors, Nishi partners, who are offering free resources that they don't normally offer. Health Center 21 has extended their trial for the rest of the year. ICEV, their online curriculum, Cengage, is offering an extension on their MindTap. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Those will come up here pretty soon.
Katrina, excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't think I have that slide. Is it on with the other one? I'm sorry.
Oh, it should be coming by email, but you know what?
I'll check and see.
The chat.
Okay, I'll get it. I'll find it then if it just came. Okay, thanks.
So we're really appreciative that you state leaders are here today. And like I said, really my message is just that, our teachers are willing to share with your teachers, and everybody's doing this a little bit differently, we know. So again, like I said, I'll type the link into the chat. So you just need to click on that. Okay. All right. Thanks. So Nancy, if you want to go ahead, I'll look up the link and put that in the chat while you're talking.
Did Phyllis get the, Phyllis, did you get, okay, you want to start with that one? I sent you the other one as well again. Katrina, there's the slide for the teachers.
Oh.
What? Okay.
Okay, thank you. So it was, if you've seen the link somewhere else, it was a lot longer. So I shortened it. So it's bit.ly/health science teachers. And if you just type in the bit.ly/health science teachers, your computer will pull up the rest.
And Katrina, I think you mentioned to the those on the call, they might just want to take a picture of that or a screenshot of that.
Yeah, I think that would work a lot better.
Are you going to go to that? Are you going to go any further with that, Katrina, or do you want to look at the other slides? Were you going to click on that? Or have
I just wanted to leave the link up there. You need the previous slide. So I will type the health science teacher link into the chat. So you should be able to type on the link in the chat, but
Okay.
you can't click on the link on the slide.
Okay.
But I do just want to quickly add that Rhonda Evett and Karen Edwards are two other teachers that I know, and they've been pouring resources into this folder for the last few days. We already had several things. And like I said, we just wanted to make sure that we shared out with everybody else. These resources don't cost anything. And if your teachers have trouble with Google, they might have a few issues, but you know, if your teachers don't want to mess with Google, they can just email their students and just, submit some assignments by email. Nobody's going to get a prize for out-teching the next person.
Katrina, there's a question or the link, and this link, is it case sensitive?
I am not sure if it's case sensitive.
Can you click on it for us? Okay. Okay, good. So Katrina, this will give you a little bit, maybe you can highlight a few of the cool things that have been included here for teachers.
Right. So there are several folders in there, and you have to click on each one of those folders to pull up different things. The case studies, I think, is the one that people have been talking about more. So the case studies have a lot of, I really think the case studies is something you could assign out in different classes. If it's public health, if it's sports medicine, if it's health science. And of course, most of the teachers are being told not to give the same amount of workload that they would in regular classroom. Teachers are being encouraged by their districts to give less work. So, something like this, the case studies could be something that they could work on. And if your teachers want to get together in a Zoom room, or they don't have to video conference. That's something that some teachers really enjoy doing, just because it gives them more interaction. But that's something that they can just email out. That's a good question. This is not all from the consortium. This folder right here, it's literally just other teachers sharing what they've used. And so I think there's some from the consortium in it. This folder is strictly our state's folder that we had for sharing with other teachers. And then on the Facebook group, we put out some, hey, what else would you like? And so the other two teachers were pouring things into this folder right here. The other teachers are sharing. And like I said, this is not a proprietary thing. This is literally teachers sharing with other teachers.
Hey, any questions from the state leaders about this resource? And I did see that one person said that they thought it was case sensitive. I'm not sure, but we will send out the link to everyone who registered for the webinar. Plus, this webinar is being recorded, and so you can always go back and see that when it's archived on our website. You can go back and pick up information there.
The question about students without Wi-Fi, I think these case studies are something you could download an email to them and they could pull it up on their phones, I guess. Or teachers could print out. As far as podcasts, I think Rhonda Evatt was putting in some, she has plenty of podcasts in there. I see that folder in there. Like I said, we've just been dumping everything we have in there, plus things from teachers all over, not just in SC, South Carolina, but in the HSEA group, teachers from all over have been posting links to things that people are offering for free. And I just want to say again, the things that we're posting in the group today are things that are free, or they're extensions of trials, because we're in such an unusual time that our NISHE partners are extending some of their free resources, knowing that we're, pretty much stuck.
Okay, any more questions about this particular opportunity, this folder that they've created? What do you want to speak, Katrina, what we talked about, that some school districts have Google Drive blocked perhaps, and kind of what our take was on that as far as them having access?
Right. So in the national group, obviously we'd come across the fact that not every school district allows Google Drive, and we understand that. Teachers could download this on their home computers and transfer it over, because you can download things in PDFs and still email it out. But really, we just want to be aware that not everybody might be able to access it if their school blocks it. And so, we just recommend that teachers can just email out to their students, which whatever learning management system that they already have, like Schoology, Canvas, Moodle, whatever they're already using, they can download some of these things if they have them. But if not, the things that the NISHE partners are offering, those are not in Google Drive, and I'm sure that they could download some of those and email those out to their students.
We also talked about, Katrina, remind me if I'm stating this correctly, that they could always set up a Gmail account, right?
Yes, I forgot to say that. I'm a little cautious of asking people who aren't used to Google to suddenly dive into it, because I know that people are stressed out. But if we are looking at possibly, I hate to say it, being out the rest of the school year, then, if they're willing to sign up with a Gmail address, they'd be able to do that a little more easily.
I also wanted to say to the state leads that I did have a question from Estelle from Mississippi, and she asked if it was possible for her to get a list of the teachers who are maybe on this call or planning to attend the 4:00 session that was for health science teachers. She wanted a list of her teachers from Mississippi who had attended, and or who had registered. And we don't always know if they attend, because sometimes you call in and we don't know where your your phone number is connected to your name. But if that's helpful to health science state leads who are on this call in any way, just send me an email and I'll be happy to send you teachers that were a part of this from your state. But let's see, was there any more questions about this? So there's a question here about what is the best resource for CNA skill state exam practice? Do you have any thoughts about that, Katrina? Or does anybody want to type something in the chat?
I think that would be partially based on what state they're in, because they may have certain requirements depending on their state. I know it was like that in Georgia. They could vary a little bit, since it's not a national test, it's a state test. But I would imagine there are some resources in each state for that. I can't say that, but maybe somebody else can share that.
I do know that Linda Romano, the Health Science Education Vice President for ACTE, she sent an email out, informational email out yesterday, I think it was, and she had some ideas in there about clinicals and the use of YouTube, some YouTube videos. So Linda, do you want us to unmute you and you reference that information, some of that information that you shared in your email that you sent out? Okay. Or you can unmute yourself. Can she do that, Phyllis? You know a little bit more about the control.
Yeah, she should be able to.
Okay, hi everybody. And so sorry to meet everybody on these crazy circumstances, but the good part is we're all getting together, and thank you to the consortium for holding these conferences. They are so needed and reassuring. So I did put out, and I'm going to actually put out some of this that is being presented to us on the ACTE, like an e-blast. So I've been trying to do that, trying to keep up with that, and we'll be sending something out either this afternoon or tomorrow. In regard to the CNA skills, sorry, here in New York, we actually just were given very quick notice, so we were not able to pack supplies up for the kids. But what we often do is we ask the students to sign out supplies if we have extra of anything or anything that they seem to have trouble with. So I don't know what the school situation is around the globe, but I know in New York that's no longer an option for us. But if you do a little survey of the students, what they feel their needs are. So if I'm having trouble with bedpan, if you have a bedpan to spare, send them home with it. Of course, instruct them not to use it for real life purposes, but for practice only. The other things that I do utilize, I reach out to the entire state. I look at a lot of videos that are on YouTube, and we use prometric testing in our state. So I look at other states that have videos that they may have posted. I know I often use a lot of the state of Florida that are on YouTube, and so I do provide that to the students through Google Classroom. In my own classroom, we've done a few little videos, but not many, because again, time is always of the essence, and I know that this is going to be a priority whenever we get back to really plan for this for next year. The other thing that I can recommend, I'm using Google Classroom, I'm using Google Meet, and my plan is, because we'll be testing in May, hopefully, my plan is to hold like town hall where students can either type in or participate somehow, telling me what their needs are and maybe providing reassurance, talking them through it. I don't have any supplies at home that I can actually demonstrate stuff, but I will certainly try my best with the students. So I don't know if those are some viable suggestions for everybody. As far as Miss Clinical, I know that's a big concern. I encourage everyone to check with their state. Some of the things that we do throughout the year that, you know, I'm reflecting back alongside my teachers that work with me, just to see what we have done. And I am in constant correspondence with my state to see if these are things that within the classroom would be allowed as clinical. Things like blood drives, blood pressure clinics, different projects. And they are very understanding of what's going on, and I'm pretty sure they're going to accept a lot of those as clinical opportunities, in addition to what you've already done in the clinical setting, long-term care or acute care.
Okay, thanks, Linda. I appreciate that. Appreciate what you're doing for teachers across the nation too, in your leadership role. You can see there on the chat box where some folks have also shared about, again, YouTube videos and anything that Katrina and I can pull from the chat here, that whether it be like a link we'll be happy to move this information over. Appreciate Whitney and Matt had some resources there listed, and we'll be happy to transfer that over to the Google Drive. Maybe, I'm not sure if there's a folder there that says CNA. I believe I did see one, but we'll be happy to put some of this information there so that everyone will have access to it. Again, there's a mention about the YouTube videos. And then Whitney from Illinois, the state lead there, shared a link that about skills. So Phyllis is going to bring up, I think, the next slide that Katrina was going to give you some information about. So we have about maybe 10 minutes, Katrina, and then we'll do the last kind of 15-minute wrap. Okay.
Okay, so these are the professional members who they've all extended the things that they give out on trial basis or whatever for free until I think it was May the 1st and possibly be extended longer. All of these listed are curriculum that are already set up online, not just a few resources, but AES, Cengage, Goodhart Wilcox, I see EV, Pearson Publishing, and today's class. Those are all curriculums, like fully set up classes that, like I said, would be really good if your teachers don't want to have to put anything together and they just want to provide a sign-on so people can just go in and use it how they want to. Anatomy and Clay, I think those are some awesome resources that teachers could share out with their students to do at home. There are lots of other things. I'm sure you guys have seen them on the internet that a lot of the regular teacher applications have shared out a lot of their premium resources. They're now putting them out for free, like Edpuzzle, and I don't want to give you a long laundry list, but I think some of those are also listed in that Google Drive in a folder for free resources. So, so those are the main things that I wanted to point out. So if you just take a screenshot or a picture with your phone, I think that would be something good. You could just email that picture out.
Yeah, we also try to keep any additional ones that we've gotten, even like this morning, I think we got one. We got information from Career Safe Online, and they were offering a free employability skills unit that they do, and that was for current customers. So if any of you in your states use Career Safe Online, their healthcare safety certification that they do, you have access. And I posted that on our Facebook page. And I thought, was there one other one, Katrina? You do have Pearson there. That came in late last night. So we just are so honored to be associated with this list that you see here. These are our partners. They are members of our publishers and educational resources category for the National Health Science Consortium. And we just are in awe of their generosity and their willingness to be so supportive of classroom teachers who've been thrust into this position overnight. Everything was normal about last week this time, right? Any questions? We're going to take just a minute and make sure we're not closing yet, but we just wanted to see if anybody had any questions about the information that's on the screen right now. Natalie shared there's a Facebook group called Teachers Transforming Nursing Education Facebook page. Anybody that's in nursing education. And Natalie, I assume that would be maybe down for the CNA level as well. Okay, I use career. Okay. I did have a question, and I told Carmen Jackson from Illinois that, I'm sorry, Indiana, that I would address this. This came up yesterday. I don't know. I guess we've just had so much on our mind, and all of a sudden I got the question when we were planning this webinar. What about the National Health Science Assessment, the end of program assessment that over 20,000 students take at the completion of their health science education program? And then we have the end of course assessments that are becoming increasingly more popular for things like medical terminology, introduction to health science, and then some career specialty end of course assessments. And those are offered through our partnership with Precision Exams. And so we reached out to Precision Exams, who is actually going through a company merger themselves with U Science, in case you've seen that. And so they're in the throes of merging the companies and also trying to calm this storm of this complex problem that we have. And so I spoke with them and I asked if they could have a statement for us about the assessments, because we wanted to give a clear and consistent message to all of you about assessments. And the hope was that they would get that to us today before this meeting. But in case you haven't heard, there was a 5.7 earthquake in the Salt Lake City, Utah area today. And some of the areas of that city are without electricity. And Precision Exams is actually headquartered about 40 minutes from Salt Lake City. And they felt the major tremor and so forth at their office. So I'm going to have to give them a break on not getting me the statement that I would like to have had for you today based on what has happened beyond their control. So that is on our radar. We do want you to know that we understand that that's a concern. We've seen in some states where they've sent a request to the U.S. Department of Education for a waiver on some of those tests that are required for students in high school and maybe even the lower grades as well. So we will see what they have to say. We know that our assessments, our career and technology assessments down to the health science assessments are all state controlled. And so, but we will have a statement from them and we'll get that up on our website. And by virtue of you registering for this event today, you'll now be in our database. So any messaging that goes out about the assessments or new information we have from partners about resources that they'd be willing to share, you'll be a part of that and we'll get that out to you. I did just want to say that we welcome the health science state leads who are with us. If you want to be unmuted, if there's information that you can unmute yourself, we want to keep that specifically to the 15 or 18 or so health science state leads that are with us here. If you want to unmute yourself and share any specific state needs that you have that you believe the consortium could be helpful to you, we'll take a moment and see if anyone wants to be heard verbally. Okay, while you're thinking, go ahead.
Andrea from Alaska. This is Andrea from Alaska. And just thank you so much for putting all this together. Thank you, Katrina and Nancy and Phyllis. I just really appreciate your support in this really interesting times we're in.
Oh, you're welcome, Andrea. We want to position ourselves as the National Authority for Health Science Education, and we want to be the convener, and we want to make the connections and be there for all of you. And this is certainly unprecedented times, and you're welcome. We're happy to do this. This This is what we're built to do.
This is Sue from Connecticut HOSA.
Hi, Sue.
Hi. I also want to thank you, and I wanted to get that link you were saying that's on Facebook about teachers, and I didn't get to write it down, what it was. There's some kind of,
Is it where, was it the whole Google Drive with all the resources for teachers? Or
that might be it, but there was something else that you were talking about that was on Facebook.
okay, Katrina, do you have a thought about that? What she might be referencing?
Oh,
If you were talking about the HSEA Facebook group, it's where the teachers can talk to one another openly. It's free. You just have to Google search health science educators under groups, and just answer the questions that you're a teacher or a teacher lead, and we'd be glad to put you in.
oh, okay.
Okay, I see. So while some of the state leads are trying to decide if they're shy or if they have anything to share, I'm going to just, I see a message on the chat from Denise Conrad saying that her dental career students were scheduled to take the precision exam, dental assisting assessment in May. And she said, will we be affected by this earthquake? I think not. I think, in fact, precision exams actually did have electricity, so maybe they were a little bit further out. So I'm sure we'll be getting something from them soon, but we're going to think positive on that, Denise, and that your students will be able to test in May. And then there was something, okay. Had a question about the end of course, the National Health Science Assessment removed this year as industry recognized certificate. I'm assuming that's from her state. Angie, that would, that's a state decision. And, oh, I see, you're from Indiana. I know that, I believe Anthony, your health science state leader, is on the call. And so if Anthony wants to share anything about that, or if he wants to talk with me offline about that, we would welcome hearing from Tony, I think he goes by, and I'm not sure if he's still here, but I saw that he was here earlier. Thank you to Dana from NCCT. They're one of our newest partners, and she has a link there in the chat space about exam prep materials that they have available. And Dana, I assume those are available to anyone? Okay, and we'll see if she responds here. Oh, Carmen, are you still there? Carmen had a question that, wow, we hadn't even thought. I mean, it's just so many unknowns, I think. And her question was, our policy is that we have a proctor when our assessments are administered. And so we'll have to think through that, how we get students together and then are able to have a proctor for the exam. Phyllis, are you able to go back to the other slide? There's a question here from Catherine Lohman about the Google Drive access. And then Whitney, we'll recheck that Pearson. She's unable to get the Pearson link to work. And so we'll post these two slides along with the webinar, but we'll post these two slides on our website with the webinar recording, and we'll make sure that all the links are functioning. And Katrina thank you, Katrina. Katrina put the And then thank you too, Phyllis. I was asking Dana about their, she had put some exam review products up, a link, and she said I could have, she said, and her email address is there. So if anyone's interested in seeing their exam review products, I know they offer a multitude of exams. I think medical assisting, phlebotomy, EKG technician, I believe. But she said you can email her directly, and her email address is there in the chat space.
Nancy, this is Matt from Ohio. I have a quick question.
Sure.
So as we've reached out into this uncharted waters, one of the things that we've come across is FERPA compliant virtual reality materials. Can we confirm that what we're doing and what some of our vendors are doing, that they're actually FERPA compliant as far as their virtual reality models?
I'm going to thank you for that. See other things that we don't think about. Maybe we could ask, I know there were some folks on from AES. I saw some folks from AES. Did y'all want to speak to that? I mean, I know we would need to speak to all of them, but I didn't know if any of our partners who might be on had a response for Matt Wells, the health science state lead from Ohio.
Nancy, this is Anne from AES. We do have a privacy policy that we can send to anybody who would like to review it prior to actually setting this up. Many districts require it from us. We have to protect the student data, so but we could certainly send that out if anybody would want it. If you need my email address, it is on the NISHE website. My name is Anne, last name Kuzer. You can certainly contact me. I'll get you that privacy policy. Or you can go to our website, and I believe it is on there.
Anne, is it Anne K at aeseducation.com? Correct,
but it's Anne with an E. A-N-N-E-K.
I had it memorized. Here you go. I put for you, Matt. That would be a start. And they're offering their Health Center 21 complimentary, I think, through the end of the year.
We're offering it through the end of the school year. It's a 30-day trial normally, but because of the given situation, we will certainly extend those trials until the end of May.
Okay. Thank you, Anne.
Matt,
Nancy, can I add in something?
Sure.
I just addressing the privacy issues. I heard FERPA and also the COPA compliance, which is specific to student data in general and student identities. All the ones on the slide with the professional publications, those are all curriculums that are already set up and have been in use. And so they, by definition, have to meet the COPA compliance as well as the FERPA. So I hope that answers any questions.
Okay. There's a couple more questions about proctoring the exams, and we honestly don't know. And so, but we certainly have that on our to-do list. So we'll get back with answers to that. Someone said, can anyone provide an actual example of an online daily class for medical terminology? And when you mean like an online daily lesson, I guess, for medical terminology, and then a patient care technician. Katrina, do you know if we have any of that in the file?
I don't think we have lesson plans specific to online. I think everybody's just kind of doing the best they can. And like I said, some school districts are asking teachers not to give anything new, like this week and next week. I feel sure, you know, we're going to move into that. Okay, what are we going to do from here on out? So I would just say probably just putting together some general stuff, some general review stuff and emailing it out. But I don't think we have standalone lesson plans.
Well, and we did post something in the Facebook page about, I think it was medical terminology for dummies or something like that, where I'm not sure what all that included. Do you?
Yes, that was a health science teacher who's put up her own website and is selling things under purposeful pedagogy, or however you say that word, .com. And that's specifically for medical terminology. I know that some of the other professional resources have medical terminology units in it, AES and all the rest of them. So I think it's probably easier if you're not used to putting this all together to go with some of the purposeful pedagogy. I think it's easier to go with some of the professional companies that already have something set up where you can just click, add it, and let students go at their own pace.
Okay, we have just a couple more minutes. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. You're welcome, Estelle. We're happy to do this. This is why we're here. We're more than happy to do this. Just making sure that we haven't missed anybody's urgent needs. So if this is a question, the last question here that we'll take has to do with the Career Safe Online. What they were offering, if you were a customer, if you already used their health science, I think they have a general safety certification, and then they have one specific for healthcare safety certification. If you were already a member of their a customer of theirs, then they were offering, they had an employability skills unit or curriculum that you could get from them, and that we put on our Facebook page. We also will add it to this slide that we're going to post on our website with the webinars. We'll add that. So to the person, I think it's gentleman who asked that question, we'll put that link on the slide with the partners offerings. And then in closing, we just want to thank you all for being here. We especially thank our state leads, as we know this is an extremely stressful time for you as well. We are not going anywhere. We've even talked about maybe, depending on you know, what happens, what the next steps will be. And so as we get closer to assessment time, if we are still in these in this difficult situation, you know, maybe there'll be another webinar. I did want to say that there's a webinar next week on the value of industry recognized certification. So if you hadn't registered for that, we'd love to have you join us there. We know you're just sitting at home with nothing to do. So that will be our Wednesday webinar for next week, will be offered by American Medical Technologist. And that will be the recognizing the value of industry certifications for our students. It will be at 4 o'clock. So you can go to our Facebook page. We'll also do an email blast. Again, we don't want to overload your email, but we send all that information out a couple of times already. So there's a webinar Wednesday on March 25th. There's also one on April 1st that I want to mention about organ and tissue donation, because April is the Donate Life Month. And so this may be a webinar that your students would enjoy. Someone had asked if their students could come to it. I think our room will hold up to 500. We hadn't gotten close to that yet. So, but more importantly, it'll be recorded. So if you wanted to have your students watch that and react to what they're going to hear about organ and tissue donation, because we know when they go apply for their license, they're asked about that. And so looking forward to an interesting Mid-Atlantic organ donation center will be hosting that. And I think one of the presenters also had her husband died and she donated his organs. So we look forward to that. And then one more webinar is ready to go for April 22nd. And that's going to be provided by Karen Edwards, one of our health science teachers, a member of the Health Science Education Association. She's going to be talking about the use of QR codes and technology in your classroom. So look forward to you all joining those webinars. And if you want to register for the 4 p.m., Christine, you should have gotten that in an email. But if you want to put your email right there, I'll forward it to you. I'll forward you the link to register.
And Nancy, somebody wanted to know again about getting credit for watching our session today.
Okay, so what we've asked, because we can't always confirm who's there, like for this webinar today, we had over 200 people register, and I think we got close to 100 people that attend. So what we've asked is for teachers to present their confirmation of their email confirmation that they registered, because it outlines there what the webinar is. And if that would suffice for their portfolio as proof of their attendance at these webinars. If that won't work, if you'll just reach out to me individually and we will get you a certificate of participation. But we really aren't able to confirm who's here and who's not, because some of you, like I said, call in and there's telephone numbers and that type of thing. We do have a list of everyone who's registered, but we know that things come up and people aren't always able to be where they want to be. So with that being said, I think it's a little after 3, and I have a couple of emails here. I see that people want me to send them how to register for the 4 o'clock. And so I'll send those to you two ladies as we hang up. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, everyone, for attending. And we look forward to being helpful to you. And